Hey everyone, how's it going? Good to see you all. I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for being here. To everyone who would asked me, if I was sick or something, Nope. I just took a little time off from doing a live feed. I think I'm distorting my vocals a bit. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be back. How's everybody doing? Thanks for being here, as always. It means a great deal to me. And, all right. Let's talk a little bit about some Les Pauls. So, yeah, I did well, first things first. I have a pedal giveaway that I'm very excited about. We're going to talk a bit about that today. And that will be the Gladio pedal, and we'll get into that a little bit. That's part of the TrueFire giveaway I'm doing with TrueFire for my new course that just got released, which you guys hopefully will check out. It is Beginning Blues Rhythm Guitar Volume 2, so it picks up where Volume 1 left off, of course. And if you use the link below that BB is so nicely putting in there, or the link on the side there, you can enter the giveaway for the pedal. And it also, there's 20% off of any of my blues courses. You can use the code. Well, okay, if you enter for the pedal giveaway, it'll take you to a page, and you can get 20% off of all the courses, and that code would be JMC20. Or if you just go to my website, jeffmackerling.com, you could also get the same, all my courses for live. If you use the code live20, you get 20% off. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Just click on any of those links. If you click on the one for the Gladio pedal, you already have the JMC20, and you get entered into getting the pedal. So, all right, hopefully that made some sense. Let me close some of these windows. Everything sound good, guys? All right, good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some stuff here. Talking about the Les Paul. So I was really surprised and happy how well the Fender, the dialing in your Les Paul and dialing in your Strat videos have been doing. So thanks for everybody who is new here. I think there's some new people here. And yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. Okay, so the first thing, as I talked about in the video, I didn't get too deep into any of the setup of the guitar. So let me just talk about what I've got here. I've got I got a Murphy Lab aged, medium aged, 1957, dark back. And it turns out RJ got one pretty much at the same time as I did, which is really funny. So it's cool. And I've changed the pickups to a set of Peter Green throwbacks that I had in the closet from a guitar that I had a while ago. So I put them in here. Kind of like upgrading the pickups. The Gibson pickups were cool, but I think these were better. And I changed my pots, as I always do, to the VIP pots, vintage-inspired pots. Great vintage-style pots with a really cool taper, and we'll talk a bit about some of that. I'll be happy to answer some questions. So, some really kind of, here's my, I say clean sound. I never go for a totally clean sound. I'm running into the Bloomfield drive today. And my volume's all the way up. So I talk about in the video, like what I love about this 50s wiring is I just bring it back a bit. And then it cleans up. Of course it cleans up, but it stays clear on top. We don't get that kind of high-end roll-off that you can get with standard wiring. So the guitar doesn't get dark, it stays kind of nice and bright. So as you keep on going down, right? And go back up. But here's the cool thing, and here's the wacky thing about the tone knob. We'll add a camera shot here. If I roll this back, it'll get a little darker, but if I keep on going down, and then roll my volume back a little bit, it gets brighter again. So it's really counterintuitive to what you would normally have, but you get used to it, and what it gives you these great sounds. Right, so I can just really bright. I'm gonna roll back that tone knob. Darkens up there, but you find these little sweet spots. If I played some chords, it would be great. Roll the volume back. So it becomes much more useful to me than a regular modern wiring. Now, modern wiring sounds cool, I think, if you're playing with the guitar pots full open all the time and you're not really going for more of a, I don't know, as detailed a sound. That sounds kind of snooty, but that's the way I kind of see it. I find it really works, especially if you're playing with a ton of overdrive and you get a lot of compression from your amp, you're not going to see the same benefits. So if I go to the neck pickup, same thing, roll that back. Roll back that tone knob. This is kind of clears up in a really cool way. Right? All right, so also the mixture of the two on a Les Paul, which is great. Now, I've done a video in the past about dialing in a Les Paul. I did one with Tim Pierce, which was a lot of fun, but I wanted to get a little more into it on the video I did. But what I love about a Les Paul is that we can dial back those two. It's like the big Jimmy Page sort of thing where he would mix those two volume controls. Right? Get those great sounds. Now, if I kick on the overdrive, so let's talk about, flip over my Gladio pedal, which you can get. You can enter the giveaway. Sorry, here we go. It's all held together by duct tape. Literally, my camera is held onto a music stand by duct tape. So, for this. All right, so what I love about this pedal, and you can, get one or any in the giveaway, is we got to set that for the neck pickup. We'll talk a little bit about that. So, I'm going to start off with the bridge pickup. I like to start off with the neck pickup because we want to dial the pedal in and my amplifier for the neck pickup for overdrive. I'm going to go here, and if I think about that, a little bit woolly for me, so I'm going to bring up the tone. Bring back the volume a bit. Right? Maybe a little less gain. Where's my gain? All right. I'm going to bring back the volume a little bit. There we go. Let me turn up that gain here, the tone a bit more, and just brighten it up. There we go. Bring back the volume. So I'm going to really dial in, as I discussed in the video, and I've talked about all the time if you're used to watching my stuff. I'm dialing the amplifier in for the neck pickup, or my overdrive, specifically. Right? Bring it all the way up. And then when I go to my bridge, still sounds good. But I can dial back the tone a bit to fine tune it. Right? So they really kind of even out. There we go. So on my tone pot, I'm at about, I don't know, 6.5. But if you want to do it all by ear. Right? So for me, that's what I'm looking for when I dial it in. And if we're talking about the pedal, which, after the giveaway you can get one, I really love this pedal. There's a bunch of pedals out there that I really love. And this one, Emilio, out in Italy, there's two kinds. There's a 2-channel, a single channel. The giveaway's for the single channel, which fits great on a board, and it's the left side of the double channel pedal, which I prefer the left side. I like the right side a lot, but the left side is the one I love. And it sounds particularly great with the Strat as well, and obviously the Les Paul. And it's got a bit more of a dumbly thing. And he designed it around Robin's tone on Cannonball Shuffle, right? He kind of went for that. So I put those two in touch, and Robin's been using this too. So this is the one I'm doing in the giveaway. So if you, SBV's posting over there, if you want to just, you can enter the giveaway, and you have a chance of winning this pedal. So there you go. So one thing that I think about when there's a bunch of ways you can run an overdrive pedal. I always kind of have it pushing the front end of the amp a little bit, and sometimes I'll leave it on all the time, depending on the gig. Right? Or I can put the volume down, try to get some unity gain, so the two volumes are the same. I mean, that's pretty close. And I like this pedal for that, because the pedal itself sounds really good. find some overdrives don't really sound so great unless you're pushing the front end of the amp and they start to sound a lot better. I think this one's really great because it just sounds good by itself and it sounds really nice into an amp, a clean amp. One more thing about this pedal, and what I like about a lot of overdrive pedals, is that there's a lot of nice mids to it, just kind of like the 2-rock that I'm playing through, that it cuts through the band really well. And I find this pedal does that really nicely. So there you go. There's me letting you know that we're doing a giveaway. So any questions, guys? I'm here to answer some questions. Thanks so much for being here. So a bunch of questions here. Let me get into this. Oh, one thing that's kind of fun. Check this out. So here's my 2-rock overdrive. Gonna mash it up. Right? I'm gonna do the Gladio. Oop. So we can kind of try to dial that in a little bit. We can get kind of close. I've gotten really close to it. I don't know if I can play today. And the 2-rocks. So we kind of start to kind of dial that in. Well, again, maybe a little more tone. And they got a clean blend in here. Let's see how that sounds. There you go. Kind of pushing more of that kind of mids in there. There you go. All right, so yeah, you can kind of dial those and match them out, which I have a lot of fun doing. So I'll do that with pedals. I'll take my favorite amps, see if I can match the pedal. But I find this pedal works well with a lot of amps. And I find not every pedal works great with every amp, as you guys would probably know that at this point. All right, so let me get to some questions. And there we go. All right, so I got my phone here. I finally did this, right? So thanks for everybody's being here. Let me go through the roll call. Phil Jones, what's going on? Michael Bohr. Eric Warrington, what's going on? Hey, everybody. L&M Guitars. Oh, I think you're not feeling well, right? Glad to hear. Yeah, well, I got the COVID a while ago too, a few weeks ago. Richard and Sarah, Thomas Moore, Steve Coleman, Richard Casey, Phil Jones, Stu, everybody. Matt Gibson, what's up, man? Early over there, right? Okay, everyone, thanks so much for being here. So let me see any kind of questions going on. Thanks for BB for doing everything as always, taking care of the questions. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you doing that for me. Well, I also want to announce tomorrow, I did a thing with my friend Keith Williams at 5 Watt World. I will be going live with Keith tomorrow at 4 p.m. talking about the guitars of Jimmy Page, because we did that video. Well, he did the video and I played guitar on it, and as well did Rick Beato. Just talking about Jimmy Page, so we're going to blab about some Jimmy Page stuff. And we got some other cool things coming up with Keith coming up soon too. All right. Is this a custom shop 57 Gold Top? Yeah, as it said in the top, this might have been a different one. Yes, this is a Murphy Lab Gold Top. I really like it, and I got a video coming out on Friday with my friend Jason Laughlin where we are comparing 4 Gold Tops from different eras, and we get deep inside these guitars and listen to them. So that's launching on Friday morning. So I'll answer a bunch of that stuff. But right here, I really like it because it feels as close to my 53 as I've come across. The neck feels right. It just feels like an old guitar. And they're doing a nitro version now, which if you notice, the nitro is sort of like glassy. And it's kind of like the old guitars. It feels right. And it's just a great guitar. I'm really, really happy with it. It's kind of sight unseen, which I very rarely do, but it turned out really well. If not, I would have had to have sent it back, but I was pretty happy with it. What do you think about the Gibson Les Paul Tribute? I don't really know. I'm sure it's good. I would always recommend that when you buy a guitar, you buy one that you've tried, or you have the opportunity to return it, because not every guitar is going to be good. And I think Gibson's making really good stuff, but I have played some new ones that are total stinkers. Like their quality control, yeah, sometimes you get a great one. This one turned out to be great, and then I've played ones of these ones that just aren't so great. So I would always recommend that you try the guitar that you buy, or have a situation that you can mail it back without any, hit on you, because you can get a really good one. Some places, I really like places like Sweetwater. There's a lot of great stores, but I would always ask for the weight of the guitar too. In Sweetwater, you can take a look and they give you the weight of each guitar. For me, I don't like very heavy guitars because I don't think that heavy guitar necessarily doesn't sound good or bad. It's just I don't want to stand up with it. It's just too heavy. So this is 8 pounds, 5 ounces. So it's nice and lighter. I think as long as you're in that 8 to 8.5 pounds, for me on a Les Paul, those are my favorite weights because I think they still sound good. I think if it's too light, it doesn't have the same qualities as a Les Paul. And we can A/B my historic makeover, which is kind of a fun little thing to do between this and that, and they sound really different. So weight, I don't know if that makes a huge difference, but it makes a difference for me wanting to play the guitar on a gig or carry it around on my back in a gig bag. Yeah, I'm using the VIP pots, which I think are great. I highly recommend them. I think they're awesome. What strings am I using? I've been using D'Addario 10s pretty much my whole life. I use 10s on my Les Pauls and I use 10s on my Strats. I think some people go for different gauges. I don't like going for different gauges because then I have to buy different boxes of strings. And excuse me, I'm just used to it. I tried heavier on the Les Paul. I get like an 11 and a 10.5, but I don't know. I don't have really big, super strong hands, and I think the whole heavy string thing is really, personally, kind of silly. It's whatever you play, and whatever feels good, and whatever sounds good, works for you, is the right string for you. I'm like 5'8", and 140 pounds, so I don't have the hands to be playing 12s or any kind of thing like that. It doesn't work for me. Okay. Okay, this is from L&M Guitar Corner. So I guess it would be already answered my question, but out of phase pickups in a Les Paul are in phase. I guess Peter Green's pickups are wired out of phase. Right. So these two are wired in phase, or I don't know what. Normal. So that's that pagey sort of thing, I say page because I'm so used to seeing him use that. What I love about this is we can mix the two and blend the sound. So if I want to make it brighter, I just roll back the neck pickup. Right? Or if I want to make it darker, I'll roll back the bridge. See a little more bass in that? Now one thing though, it turns off one of the pickups and it drops it down fast. And a little trick, guys, Cathedral, right? Van Halen, he did it on a Les Paul. This is my understanding. He did it on a Les Paul in the middle pickups because he could do the volume knob really quickly because watch. Like it drops off really fast, so he did the whole thing on the record. I believe I read that he did it that way, but that's something to think about too. But that's a great sound. And I also like that, as I said earlier, you can bring them both down with the angle that this is at. You can ride them together. This is where, when I started getting into Les Pauls, I kind of just treated them like I did when I played my Jacksons and things, just full volume or not. I didn't ever really work with volume knobs and tone knobs because I was playing with a lot of overdrive, and back in the day we used like multi-channel amps. Like I'd have a clean channel and a dirty channel, and it doesn't make any sense to me anymore. It's always kind of the same thing where I just boost the channel a bit for more overdrive. So when I got into this and I discovered the 50s wiring, and this is all in the past 10 years, that I was like, wow, this is completely different. And then I started to understand some of the sounds that I would hear, Peter Green get, or Jimmy Page, or anybody who's like a in-depth Les Paul kind of guy. So if you look at even say like Al Di Meola, he always kind of seemed to play in that middle pickup so he can mix the two. So same also with Jimmy Page, so he can mix the two of those. All right, so the out of phase Peter Green thing, I can get to that in a second on the other Les Paul. What do you think of the Murphy Lab guitars? I think they're great. I think it's fantastic. I think, like I said, you've got to find the right one. Guitars, and as you went and watch the video that Jason Lachlan and I'm launching on Friday, I've had the opportunity to play a lot of old guitars, like 50s Les Pauls and things, and I got to say that they're not all great. There's a lot of stinkers, and I tried one a few weeks ago that I was like, this is terrible. It's old, but it's terrible, so... Plexico, hey, thanks for the super chat. Thank you so much. What do you think? Do you think you could take us through your signal chain and say hi to BB Ninja. Hey, BB. Okay, sure. The signal chain is very, very, very simple at the moment. It's the 2-rock Bloomfield drive into my aux, and I am playing at TV volume. It's got full attenuation going on here. In other words, you're not hearing this. I'm not hearing it through into my speaker cabinets because that becomes very difficult with miking and my neighbors, because I live in New York. So, you got to do what you got to do. So this isn't even on right now, the speaker cabinet. So everything is coming through my monitors in front of me, and I'm using a cabinet simulator from the aux. And that's it, really. And on my pedal board right here that I have is just very simple. It's a tuner, because I always like to have a tuner for obvious reasons. And then the Gladio pedal, which is on the giveaway today. If you give away for the pedal, you get 20% off of my course, my new course. And then the reverb you're hearing is from the aux. That's a plate reverb that's inside the universal audio aux. So that's all I'm doing. And I have a lot of pedals, but when I go live, you've seen some pedal board rundowns that I've done. I try to keep it very simple, like live. It looks like I have a lot of pedals. I do sometimes on gigs, but it's because I play with a trio usually, and I like to have different sounds. I think it's fun to switch it up all night. And since I'm not playing blues on my gig, I'm playing my record. So for my record, I've got tremolo on some tunes and univibe on some tunes, and there's delay, and then there's some fuzz on stuff, and I like to have a boost. So I have a number of pedals on my pedal board just for the gig, and I do that to vary the tone of the sonic palette, so to speak, right? So I like hearing different sounds during a night. So there you go. That's the pedal board. That's the signal chain I'm running right now. The Diodarios I use are just the New York XLs. Not the XL, just the regular ones, the one they've been making forever. It's the nickel. Yeah, the nickel ones. I hate the chrome ones. Diodario, whatever one. I don't know, the regular ones. The one they've been making for like 30, 40, since I started playing guitar. I don't like the steel ones. I think they sound really bright and clangy and changy, and I don't like that. I tried the New York, the new ones, the NYXL. It's like the XLs, XLSs. The NYXLs, I found to be kind of stiff. Some people I know like them. They changed the feel, and for me it ain't broke, and so why fix it? I've been using the same. I find Diodario to be extremely consistent, and I'm not supposed to say this, and I work with them doing an endorsement thing. So, but that's because I like them. Anything I use, and I think you guys know this about me now, is I don't really play anything or promote anything I don't really love, because it's just not the way I want to do it, because then you wouldn't trust my opinion, and hopefully you trust my opinion on things, I hope. All right, so get through the questions. Hey, Angus Clark here. Angus Clark, personal friend of mine. Everybody go follow Angus Clark's page, his YouTube page. Great stuff, spectacular guitar player, and former roommate and best man at each other's weddings. There you go. All right. Let's see what we got. Sorry, guys. Catching up. You have an RO and unpotted custom buckers, Alnico 3D Live. Yeah, I had the custom buckers on this, and I like unpotted humbuckers. My Tuttle Strat that you guys have seen, it's over on the couch, but it has the 2 humbuckers. Those pickups are potted because they're in a Strat style pickguard, and it was too noisy. Like I would tap, you can kind of hear that maybe. Well, here, like, when you hear this. But in a Strat, when I changed pickups, it was like, conk! Like you'd hear this really loud. So I got potted pickups and throwback, and then it's totally quiet the way it should be. So I find I like unpotted pickups. I think they're more classic sounding. But that said, maybe Angus can chime in, because Angus plays arenas, and I don't, with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Angus, are you using potted pickups on that gig because of, I know you're not at high volume, but were we talking about that at some point? Generally speaking, if you're going to do high volume gigs and use a lot of overdrive and a lot of gain, which I'm not really doing, I would probably go for a potted pickup because you won't have the feedback problems that you would have at a higher volume. So the kind of music I play, and if I play high gain, I kind of have to ride it and work it. But I'm not doing a lot of high gain gigs where the feedback becomes an issue. If you're playing, I got a video I'm going to do sometime soon on, I got an EVH amp, which is actually killer. But yeah, that's the kind of problem if I'm sitting next to that and it's loud, you hear like, ee, like it'll do that squeal. And if you hold the pickup, it'll stop squealing. So blah, blah, blah. I think the custom buckers are really, really good. I just preferred the throwbacks to the custom buckers. I mean, there's a huge price difference. The throwbacks are not inexpensive, but I generally feel, and I know Tim Pierce has talked about this. Okay, Angus just said he had throwback. Yeah, he had throwback pot the pickups because you're doing the kind of gigs that, yeah, you can't be on stage at an arena and have your pickup squealing, right? So you do what's right for the gig, but for my gigs, I'm going for the really traditional sound. And okay, so I know I'm blabbing here. I had another thing I was going to say. Oh, the custom buckers, they're great. I just overall prefer throwbacks, but I do think the custom buckers are great. I would always say live with the guitar. And other crazy things I did to this, and I probably should do some video on this, people are asking. I bought a vintage bridge, a vintage ABR. This is from 1965. And I know I'm a lunatic, but my good friend Holger Notzel, who designs Comet amps and runs Comet amps and does a lot of repairs on my guitar, and he's a vintage guitar guy. And other guys I've talked to, and he works with Robin now, and he, because I introduced him, and Robin has one of these now, and we both put vintage bridges on it, and there is a difference. There's a difference in tone, whether you like it more or not. But I'll do a video. I still have the original bridge. I have a Faber, and then I have this. I think this one sounds just a little warmer, but the other Faber sounds a little brighter and a little more crisp. So it depends what kind of music you're playing. So this is from 1965, and that's the only thing. Well, that's a big thing, but it wasn't crazy expensive, but it was. I just wanted the guitar to sound as vintage as possible, and that I found helped me out a little bit with that. Okay. Yeah, I'm a nerd for this stuff, but I like it. You know what else? You know. Okay. Any reason not to change the PRS McCarty 594 to 50s wiring? Yeah, okay, so the 594, which I have, has modern wiring, but it has treble bleeds on it, right? So the treble bleed, it's the best treble bleed I've found. Okay, let's go back for a second. What a treble bleed is, it's like a capacitor and a resistor, or there's some sort of way, I don't know, somebody can correct me if they want, that you wire up to your volume pot between your tone knob and your volume pot, or some lug or something, I don't know. But when you roll back your volume, it keeps the high end. The only problem I've generally had with a lot of those, and even on Stratocasters, is that they don't sound right to me. They can sound very bright. And I know it's about getting the right mixture of pots, of capacitors and resistors, whatever the hell it is, mixed together to get the smoothest and best sound roll off. I know it's about that, but on my old Strat, it doesn't have one, and I like the way the Strat sounds, and I'll do a live on the Strat too. So to me, that's what an old Strat sounds like. You roll back the volume, they're very bright, it's a Strat, and you roll back the volume a bit, and it kind of takes that high end off. I find when you roll back a humbucker with regular wiring, it gets too dark too fast. And then the guitar becomes kind of useless to me when the volume's not up all the way. It gets kind of muddy and not a sound I like. So you can put a treble bleed on it, and a treble bleed keeps the high end, but sometimes it doesn't feel as good to me as 50s wiring. That said, on my 594, I think it does a nice job as well. And the only way I could say to you, the only advice is you just experiment between the two, and then you decide which one you like best. It's kind of a pain, I know, but I don't know what else to say. All right, jump it down here. All right. So Jeff, if not New York City, where else would you live and play? I don't know, maybe someplace in Europe. I don't know, Paris, you know. I have to live in a city, I think, or near one. Yeah, it would probably be, or Rome, or something beautiful like that, where there's really good food. So, yeah, I love Italy. So I would maybe say Italy just because it's so beautiful. I got some friends over there, and the food is the best that anywhere that I think. I mean, you go to a train, like you go to a roadside stop, and you get a sandwich, and it's one of the best sandwiches you'll get. So, and the coffee, and the friends, and all that. Okay. What kind of frets do you like on a Les Paul? It's a good question. These are the original Gibson frets. Here's the annoying thing is when I buy a Gibson or any guitar, unless it's kind of custom made, well, yeah, even the PRSs, I like a taller fret. So I usually put like a 6105 or something like that. There's a Just card that I have on my burst that my friend Holger recommended. I really love for Gibsons. It's a little fatter. It's like this fat. It's fatter and wide, but it's not like a 6100. It's tall. But, you know, Gibson frets are a little low for me and are kind of flat. So at some point I will have to refret this for it to be exactly the way I like a guitar to play and feel. But, you know, I'm not in any rush to spend any more money, you know? So, but yeah, I do like, I forget what it is. It's the equivalent of the Jescar 6105. There's a particular fret, I'm sorry I don't remember the number of it. Angus Clark, what pickups came in the Murphy Lab? The custom buckers, just the regular custom buckers came in here. Which aux cabinet am I using? Let me just look. I'll tell you the mics too. I am using the Greenback 412 25 punch, the Ribbon 421, and the Dynamic the Ribbon 121 and the Dynamic 421 off axis, and a condenser room for the stereo. I've just grown up playing Greenback cabs, and I just feel most comfortable with those. I'm not a big fan of 57 mics for like bluesier stuff. For the rock stuff, I like the 57 because it cuts more. So like Angus would love the 57s. How does the Gold Top feel versus your PRS? They feel completely different. The PRS has a wider neck and kind of a bigger frets. They feel very, very different, but they both sound great. They both have a different vibe. I just, you know, for me, I just, there's nothing cooler than a Gold Top. I just love them. And I mean, the burst is awesome. I love, you know, I mean, that's awesome. I'm not saying that isn't. That's completely awesome. But there's just something about a Gold Top and me that I love. So the other one, and this is what I talk about in my video coming up with Jason. Here's the old one. And kind of the similarities, they did a really nice job kind of making them look as close as you could get. Obviously, this is old and oxidized and things, but it looks pretty good. Actually, this is more checked in many ways. It's a lot more checked than this, which is interesting. But yeah, it just kind of has the same kind of vibe, but this is obviously darker looking because it's 60 years old. All right. So, all right. So once again, I got to do some pitching, and because BV is totally doing it for me. Hey, if you like the channel and you like what I do, there's you can hit the tip jar if you want. I really appreciate that. But if you want something for your money and you want to help me support me, you could pick up courses, and you could do that through my website, jeffmackerlane.com. The link's here. I've got courses at all different levels. There's a course I did with Brett Papa, the British Blues Masters. And when you go through my website to do this, and all the TrueFire courses would have, if you use Live 20, you get 20% off. I get a much better deal. So a lot of people who are TrueFire guys like, oh, I can get it through TrueFire. But if you get it through me and any TrueFire artist like Angus Clark or Jason Laughlin or all my friends, anybody who knows in TrueFire, if you buy it through their website, we get a greater percentage of the sale. So just to let you know that helps out the artist directly. And if you like the information and you like hanging out and like my videos, this is really a great way to help us out. And so there's my pitch. And also, you can sign up and you can get the Gladio, join the Gladio giveaway, and all it costs you is an email. All right. Hey, Keith's 5 Watt World's here. I told everybody we're going to be on your live feed tomorrow at 4 p.m. And we'll talk about some Jimmy Page stuff. Ever tried putting flat wounds on your Les Paul? I love it for rockabilly. That sounds pretty good. You know, I have not. And Jason Laughlin, who has borrowed mine, he's like, man, I'd love to put flat wounds on this and make it what it's supposed to be. And I'm like, yeah, sure, that would work for you, but not for me. Yeah, that would be, I'm not interested just because it's not the kind of music I play, but I'm sure it would sound great doing that. Burgermeister, thanks for the cool videos. NYSW in the house, former student. Wow, really? Oh, thanks for being here, man. Were you the guy wearing the black t-shirt with the pointy headstock? That was always our joke at the National Guitar Workshop, which was something that's actually where I met Angus Clark and David Hamburger and a bunch of my other friends, who are still dear friends now. Our joke was, it was like the metal era, and all the students were wearing like black concert tees and had pointy headstock guitars. So that was always the joke. Oh, curious, why don't you top wrap? I haven't tried it on this guitar. It feels really good the way it is now. People tell me it softens up the feel of the strings, and the guitar feels right to me. I don't know. I tried top wrapping on an older Les Paul I had that I had sold. I sold it because it was too heavy for me. That's why I sold that one. And it didn't, the downward pressure on the strings didn't really give me the sound I wanted. It was kind of, the neck angle was maybe not the greatest on that guitar, I guess. So what that means, guys, if anybody doesn't know what top wrap is, it's when we put the strings through here on a top wrap, you go around the back and you wrap them over the top of the tail piece. And that's, if you know, some people like that because it reduces the tension on the feel of the strings. Some people say it sounds different. I don't know. I know Bonamassa does it on a bunch of his guitars, but this just sounds really, really good to me. So, or feels good, and I just leave it that way. Hey, Rhett Shull is here. Hey, man. Thanks for joining in. Good to see you here. Loves Gold Top. What pickups are you running? These are the Peter Green, throwback Peter Green 102s. These are not reverse wound. These are just the regular, right? Right? So, just to A-B for a sec. I don't know if this is in tune or not. This is the throwback. So this is also the throwbacks. These are the PG 102s. And this has a reverse wired. So this is the difference. Watch. So Peter Green's a little higher output, and then I have this. There's that reverse wired. So let me get a little more gain. That sounds cool. I love that sound. But I didn't want to put that on two guitars because I love this sound, but I also love the Jimmy Page mixture too. So that's why you have to have two Les Pauls. You know? Right? The whole Peter Green sound, right? And this is really weird about the reverse wire. No, sorry. So what's going on here is not reverse wire. This pickup is flipped, so it's in the different out of phase, or pickups wound backwards. Well, not, the magnets in a different way. So, but here's the thing that happens: you get that out of phase sound, and then if I turn down my volume on my bridge, like one drop in the volume, it changes the tone dramatically. See? I mean, I like that. It's like a less out of phase sound. That's also that Freddie King sort of sound. No, not Freddie King. Yeah, Freddie King and B.B. King is that kind of sound too. So I love that, you know. Let's hear the two of them. So, and that's the Gladio. All right, so let's hear the two. Let's do it. Very different sounding. But I'll leave it. So, everything's up. Plays different too. If you guys have a preference of the two, I think they both sound really good, and they both sound different enough. I like the frets on that one better. That's a thinner neck, not super thin, but it's thinner than this. And these are the Gibson frets. So at some point, I will put on a fret that I like better. I feel better on the bigger fret. Okay, so Ryan Full Dark. This channel I turn to for pure tone and excellent inspiring playing. Thank you, Jeff. Hey, thanks, Ryan. I really appreciate that. And thank you, everybody else who's been here and following along. Yeah, what's my favorite weight on a Les Paul is sort of the up to 8.5 pounds. And after that, I start going, this is just way too heavy for me. This is 8 pounds, 5 ounces. That one's 8 pounds, 3 or 2 ounces, something like that. When the live stream gets unloaded, will the trailer be available? Phil Jones. I'm going to make the trailer available. And I might actually add it. So a lot of people are asking, like, I want to talk about the amp too. So I'll make that live at some point soon. All right. What does it cost to refret a guitar that has neck binding? It all depends on where you live. In New York City, everything costs more. Everything costs more, except maybe dinner. You can get a really great falafel or something. But I don't know, in New York, $600, $500 or $600 for like a serious good fret job, 4 to 6, depending on who does it. There are some people who charge more, but you know, what are you going to do? What city in Europe is easiest for an old blues player to get lost in? You're saying I'm an old blues player? I would probably say Paris. What's the purpose of the big button you have on your tuner? Oh, that's a good question. This button, it's where I generally have my tuner and my pedal board. There's this thing called barefoot buttons, and it just raise it up a little bit. So where it is on my bigger pedal board, it's on the end, and it just makes it more level with the rest of the pedals because it's a lower pedal. And some of these are really great. Like if you have a pedal that's slanted, you know, some of the pedals that come angled, if you put on these buttons, it raises them up a bit, and you can equal out the heights without putting a riser underneath, which I never do. So that's all it is. It goes on the side with a little Allen wrench. Okay. Who doesn't have a gold top these days? Pretty funny. All right, sorry, I'm just running through any questions. Oh, this is from Vito. Thank you for the top chat. Thank you. Got a VOS gold top recently. I dig your style. I especially liked on the video using chordal voicings and pentatonic scales. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Those ideas are also in my pentatonic course. Whatever the name of it is, just popped out of my head. Deep Dive, Pentatonic Deep Dive, which one of my favorite courses and how I like to talk about and think about pentatonic scales. I'd like to see you do a detailed cover of your jam tracks. What went into each jam track, performance tips, et cetera, et cetera. Love your lessons. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's something to talk about. Or maybe how to play over things on each of those jam tracks. It's an idea. Thank you. Yes, this is a great reason to have two Les Pauls, right? Because you want 2 different pickup combinations. I agree. Full on. Sorry, Jeff, I'm a TrueFire All Access, so not much point in me buying your courses, but I'm enjoying your courses. Well, the point in you buying them is you're supporting me. If you really like what I do. I'm guilting you. Now, of course, if you have TrueFire All Access, sure. But there's a bunch of things that are going to be in the works for everybody. I'm going to start doing, this will be fun to talk about this for a second. I will announce them once I get it rolling, I'm going to do some live workshops through my upcoming website. And I'm going to have a particular subject matter, you know, so not as freeform as an actual, you'll get some background tracks and some tabs, and I'll talk about a specific topic And I'm going to start doing those and offering those through my instructional website that's coming up soon. So I'll let you guys know about that. I'm really excited about that because a bunch of you guys have contacted me about lessons, and I haven't gotten back to a lot of guys, and I will. I'm getting to the point where I have to start I'm happy that I can't get to all the lessons. I don't have enough time, and I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity, if you'd like to work with me, that I'd like to work with you as well. And I think a group workshop would be really a great way to do it. And then you get to keep the download and all those kind of things. You get to watch it at the site. You have access to it from now on. And then, of course, the course materials. So I'm going to start doing that. So they're like mini courses, but they're really specific on certain ideas and things that I think we should practice. So I'll be announcing that soon. I'm really excited about that. Okay. Bill Shulkitis, man. What's up? Hey, buddy. What do you... thanks, man. Good to see you. What do you do when you got to go to a 4-hour jam and somebody asked you to play a solo in every song? How do you keep sounding interested? You fell in love with the Shirley again. Okay, Bill bought my old Dirty Shirley, which was a great amp. Okay, the answer to that question, you have to think about a bunch of things. One, nobody knows that you're playing for 4 hours. Nobody cares what you play for 4 hours because nobody's paying attention to you for 4 hours. That's one, right? So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. Like if you're doing this gig and you're like, oh, nobody's paying that much. I'm not that important that people are going to pay attention to me for 4 hours. So the thing it's in your head what you got to do. So a lot of times I don't want to say go on override, but sometimes you do. You just play stuff that you know is going to work, and that's just what the gig calls for. You can't always be improvising and coming at everything at a new approach sometimes. I just think that's really hard. But the main thing is, don't worry. Nobody in the audience cares. I think you do enough gigs, Bill, to know that. But nobody in the audience cares. Like, unless they're to see you, and then they're kind of expecting to do what you want to do anyway, or expecting you do what you do anyway. The other thing I will do, if I really want to just keep myself interested, is I'll just try to take a different approach on the song. I'm going to try soloing without a pick. I'm going to try soloing only playing eighth notes. I'm going to try bending into every note I can, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm going to take an idea and try to work it in to the solo to keep myself interested. And I've been in those gigs where you're like, oh my God, it's like another blues gig and another shuffle. So what can I do to make this good? Well, I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to play with my thumb. I'm going to play with a clean tone. Like anything you can do like that just keeps it interesting for you as the player. So that's something I think about. Need a ventriloquist dummy, and then I'll talk while I'm drinking. That'd be great. Hopefully that answers the question there, Bill. Can you show us your pickup heights? I don't know if the camera is not on autofocus, but they're pretty high. I mean, the bridge is fairly high because you're kind of supposed to, they say. I've got the bridge is sort of definitely sitting slightly below the pickup ring. So the neck is sitting below the pickup ring. And I do a lot of it by ear. If it's too bassy, it's too boomy, I try to make sure they're at least equal in volume. Get a clean sound, cleaner. That's the biggest thing for me, and if they're not too loud. And I found sometimes these traditional PAFs are supposed to be a bit closer. Some guys have them really far away. I think they lose some of the body when you do that. And if you have them too close, they can be way too boomy. So it's by ear. And I've never had anybody, every pickup is different. So if it's a really strong pickup, you might want it further away. It all depends on how hard you want it to push your amp. I'm not the best guy. I just kind of do it by ear and go like, oh, this sounds good. And I just play with it for a while and go, oh, this sounds good. And then play with it for a while and go, okay, I think I got it. It's mainly just to match out the volumes and to make sure the neck pickup doesn't sound too woofy, right? Like that kind of sound. Okay. So I get SG from Watchtower Guitars. I'm actually looking to buy used R9 from that shop out of state. But you can't play in person. Any thoughts on tips? Yes, when you call Watchtower Guitars, right? This is for Will Fugate. Ask for my friend John Skibick, and he will tell him you're watch me on here and Talk to him about what Les Pauls, and he'll take them all down and tell you which ones are the best. Totally trustworthy guy, totally trustworthy store. So ask for John or any of those guys there and tell them you're coming through me. Great guys, and they're going to be totally honest. I went to college with John. He's a great dude. Hey, Andrew, on the top chat, thank you for the great TrueFire classes I've done on all access. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. Thank you very much for helping out. Thank you. You guess your 9-pound, 3-ounce standard wouldn't cut it. Hey, it's whatever you get used to. I had a heavier one, and I just honestly, guys, like as I get older, I just can't do it anymore. Like you start like, you know, not that I feel like I'm weaker, but you're like, wait, I can play a lighter guitar? Why am I playing this heavy thing? You know, it all comes down to gigs. When I'm sitting here just playing, it's fine. But if you're on a gig and you've got, you know, 9.5 pounds, or some of these guitars, like some of the 70s Gibsons, like 10 pounds or 11 pounds. I mean, I can't do it, especially when I can play, you know, this PRS I have is like 7 pounds, 8 ounces or 6 ounces or something like that. You know, like if I got to play, you know, what am I going to play? The 11-pound guitar, or am I going to play that? Just out of pure being pragmatic, I can't do it anymore. I never could. Okay, there's that Jimmy Page wiring was just mentioned. That's too many switches for me. Okay, so you guys are into the workshop. Also, what do you, oh, Tom, like I do get paid for TrueFire All Access. We get a percentage, but it's not the same as people purchase courses. So please don't get me wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing what's best for you, and you should do what's best for you. I don't mean that in any negative way. I do appreciate that you watch my courses, and please certainly don't take out anything that in the wrong way. I was just giving you a hard time about for fun. But we all get a percentage of the TrueFire streaming. We get a much greater percentage if we sell the course. That's the way that we just let people know you can support us and all that sort of stuff. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Am I a fan of 70s Les Pauls? I'm a fan of any good Les Paul. You know what I mean? Like if it's a good one, if it's not heavy, I'm more of a fan. My friend James Hogan's great guitar player, has got some customs from the 70s that aren't crazy heavy. They're just great guitars. So yeah, John Sykes plays those, you know. So yeah, I love those. Okay. Here we go. Sorry to jump ahead. That's why B.B. King's played while seated. I could see that. Chambered Les Pauls, those can sound good. Yeah, of course. Here's the deal, guys. You know, like I was saying before, any guitarist can sound good. You just want to try the one that you're going to buy. And then, one thing, they were talking about this on that pedal show, and I think Mick had said it, and I'm guilty of it, and a lot of my friends are. When you get a new guitar, you might hate it at first. When I first got this, I wasn't sure about it at all because I was so used to my other Les Paul. And I just wasn't sure if I loved it, and I started like, maybe I should change the pickups. And I started changing the pickups. I started doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, why don't I just live with the guitar? So the first thing I would say is live with the guitar for a while. Then I lived with the pickups, and I thought, well, there's something missing that I know throwbacks have, and I put them in, and I got that. And the vintage bridge that I put on was just as a recommendation from a good friend of mine who says it'll make it sound a little more old. And I feel like those two things together made this guitar really, really come together in a way I really loved. So I don't know what you guys thought of the comparison between the two, but I think they both sound great. Are you still using the FM3? Yeah, all the time. I love the FM3, and we can talk about that too. I mean, the FM3. We're talking about the Fractal FM3. It's you know, I should probably do a video. There's all these videos I want to do coming up, but if there's the most valuable pieces of gear that I have that really get all the use on a daily basis, this is my Fractal FM3. That's probably, besides along with the guitars, the most used piece of gear that I have. I think it's spectacular. You know, well, we got this, right? It's gonna sound different. Let's hear the FM3. I got it plugged in on the floor right now. It's got to change my input and get the right jack. Hold on. Oof. You should see the mess of wires that you can't see. Where's that cable? One sec, guys. Oh, there it is. It's underneath this. It's live. Let's do it. Hold on. I know, I don't know if Rhett's still on. I know he just got a fractal not that long ago, and Angus has been using them for a while. Okay, so this is the FM3. This is the JTM 45. I mean, put a boost on there. With my Marshall. Ready? Right? That's the FM3, so I don't know. It's pretty awesome. Also, what I love about this, a lot of things don't get right, like the Univibe. You know, chorus. Get those 80s sounds. Right? Not used to these. Not warmed up for the Zach Wildlicks. So yeah, the FM3 is totally killer. Any of the fractal stuff is really great. All right. There's the FM9, which I want, of course, but they came out with I bought the FM3 before the FM9 was available. So that's the problem with things like that. The great thing about guitars and amps is they don't get outdated. You know, they're not going to release the newer version, really. A tube amp's kind of a tube amp. So what Fractal did is they put in FM9. I love the FM3, but they put in FM9, which is kind of like cooler. But you know, eventually, I don't need it. I'm not going to use it on, as much as I love it, I could use it for recording, and I would use it on certain kind of gigs, as I've talked before. I'm not going to use it on blues gigs because I like an amp. But Angus uses them in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra when he's touring, and that makes perfect sense because you can, that's where that's where I'd use this stuff over an amp at any time. Okay. You're on a pension. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Look, David, I'm sorry. Just not go down this road. I'm sorry. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being a True for All Access guy. I was just having fun with you. I enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. I didn't want to go. Okay. One thing, I do have a New York City sense of humor, and a lot of times people go like, "What, is he kidding?" And yeah, I'm only kidding. I just love. I appreciate you being here. Period. So please don't take that the wrong way. It's just like I said, my sense of humor. A lot of guys. Sometimes don't understand it because it can be a little New York. Okay. The Supertonic, love my playing. What do you think about the Keely Compressor Plus? I have no idea. I never use a compressor. I'm not a huge compressor fan. I just find them to be a little weird. They're cool. The only time I use a compressor is, you know, if I've got to do like a funk guitar part, which might happen once every 3, 4, 5, 10 years or something like that. So I don't know. All right, any more questions? I think we're kind of got a good hour going here. Man, I really appreciate everybody being here. I love everybody. How many people are here? Jeez, we got 181 people. Any questions before we go? Happy to answer some more questions. Once again, don't forget the Gladio giveaway, the Gladio pedal. And we can get your own, and you can get 20% off my new course, the Blues Rhythm Guitar Volume 2. And in that course, I just start building upon what I did in Volume 1. Volume 1 is all kind of the key of A and open position stuff, really firming up, you know, this stuff, which I find really, let me explain. Well, I made these courses because people asked for them, but really when I end up teaching people, I find that a lot of people don't have their fundamentals really nailed. And that becomes a problem because they often, you think you know how to play the blues, and then when you're in a situation, you sometimes lose the form, or you're limited as to your options or variations that you have when you're playing. So this way we really try to, I tried to put out the course to, it seems, it's pretty rudimentary, but that was the point, because I find when I teach people, they miss a lot of that. And they're like, oh, I'm messing up the form, or I only have one thing I can play in a blues. So it starts off really like getting you into it right away, playing stuff that I would still end up playing to this day. And then in volume 2, we're moving to the key of E. We start working on some bar chords and some riffs. So it kind of jumps ahead, but not, it moves, I think, at a pace that you can work through. And I really like the courses. And there's the beginning lead guitar, volume 1 as well. There's going to be volume 2 coming out. I have to film it, but eventually it's going to be volume 2. And so all those courses will be 20% off if you use the code LIVE20, as are all the courses at through my page. Or if you click on the link for the Gladio giveaway, you can use the 20% code off there, and all those go through me. And then hopefully somebody can win this awesome Gladio pedal. So, yeah, it's cool. Let's see what we got here. Is Les Paul uncomfortable to play sitting down because there are no comfort cuts? You get used to it. I find Strats easier to play sitting down. But I definitely like, it took a little while to get used to sitting down with the Les Paul. I got to say, it's not at first, everything kind of feels like it sits over here. I don't find any problem with it cutting into me. That doesn't bug me at all. It's not sharp or anything. But a Strat's going to sit more like over here, and the Les Paul feels like it's over here. So posture-wise, it's a bit of a change and something to get used to. What's the best neck profile for me? I like a medium thick neck. So this is a bigger neck, but it's not a baseball bat. 850 down here, maybe, I don't know. But this one, I love the neck on this thing. It feels great. It's kind of like perfect. I think it's great. Some of the earlier reissues, like I had a 58 reissue a while ago, and that was a very large neck. And they used to make them too big, I think. And now they've got the neck dimensions right, because this neck feels a lot like my 53. How do I feel about Dan Electros? They're cool, you know. I had one years ago, like the really terrible ones, and the neck warped and it was terrible. But they're cool sounding guitars, man. Of course. Yeah, nice to see a big jump into subscribers. Yes, anybody who's new here, man, thank you so much. In the past few weeks, those 2 videos have just kind of exploded, and I'm super happy about it. And I have a new video coming out with Jason Laughlin on Friday. Why do I never like expensive Les Pauls, but get okay with tributes in studios? Then lucky you, man. Go with that. Those are good guitars. If you don't like the more expensive ones, consider yourself lucky, because you don't have to kill yourself for that. You know what I mean? So I don't even question it. Suggestions on pots. I don't get room 1 and 3, and it's all the same between 10. I don't know, I use the vintage-inspired pots. The wiring will make a difference. As I think I said in the Les Paul video, but not so much today. With the vintage wiring, there is a quick slope in the volume. I'm just so used to it. Some people told me that like RS Guitar Works makes a pot that is more uniform. I don't know, I'm just so used to it. If I got a more uniform pot, I'd have to relearn that. So there is a quick slope. So that's just a 50s wiring thing. Or it's a bad pot. You know, you might want to try changing that to a better pot. I don't know what you have now necessarily, but that would what I would recommend. What is your favorite Fender amp? A Super Reverb is my favorite Fender amp. There you go. So thanks for everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in a few weeks. I'm going to try to get back to doing this more regularly. Some people are asking me, where you been? I really appreciated the emails I got while I was out and thinking I was still sick with COVID or no. It was, honestly, it's a lot of time. The live feed, I try to prepare for it. Filming videos takes a lot of time for the YouTube stuff, and I'm working on stuff to launch my own other courses, so putting courses together, shooting videos, teaching still, trying to be a human being, you know, interact with people, the loved ones in my life, and not spending a whole day talking at a camera, if that makes sense. And I'm not complaining in any way, but there's just a limited amount of time, and sometimes the live feeds, as much as I love them, it's very hard to multitask doing this stuff. Because if you're filming a course or filming a video, it takes a lot of, I can't multitask and do anything else. So if I'm filming one day, I can't do a live feed because I can't break up my time mentally. I find that the live feed will stink or the video filming will stink. I don't have to do it again. So that's kind of what is happening, that I need more time to launch the YouTube videos. And let's just talk real truthful stuff. YouTube, the way they rate videos, is one of the reasons why I've gotten this huge increase, I think because the videos hit. It's also I started releasing more videos that were not live streams. I was mainly doing live streams, and those don't really rate the same way. And I was finding my YouTube channel was sort of stagnating, and then people who have come here through all these new videos have said like, wow, I'm just discovering your channel. There's all this great stuff in here. How come I didn't know about it? So what Rick Beato has been telling me for a year or more is totally true, that you have to up the amount of non-live feeds that you do. And as that grows, that will help your channel grow. So I'm going to try to be back here in 2 weeks. So I'm going to try to do this again every 2 weeks. And because you guys are awesome, or maybe more if everything kind of goes the way I want to. But I really have to focus on getting some more videos to expand the channel, because it was kind of in a holding position. And it's not that I don't love you guys and thank you for being here, but it's just strictly amount of time that I have to do all the stuff to move all this to the next level. So that's the honest truth. But I appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate all the comments. Thank you for everybody hit the top chat, and I will see you and thank you, BV. Thank you for everything. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, I will be live with my good friend Keith Williams talking about the guitars of Jimmy Page. So please join me then, and I will see all you guys later. Thanks, guys. Oh, wait, hold on. BB's got the idea. Make channel 2 for the live streams. It's an idea. I've been talking to Rick a bit about that kind of stuff. Rick's been very helpful. All right, as has been Keith, and Tim Pierce has been super helpful too. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.